In a previous video of this series, I listed the 3 important problems that needed to be solved for community-based integrated data systems to be widely adopted. In this video, I wanted to do a shallow dive into each of the 3 main problems and give a feel for them. I'll be doing a much deeper dive in videos to come, but this should serve as a good introduction. My name is Leonard Lawson, and these are numbers that matter. Problem 1, an open source API first approach. Now, the problem here is more accurately described as the lack of an open source API first approach. Today, software is largely either open source or proprietary. Open source generally means the author of a work grants the public the right to inspect, modify, and redistribute their work free of charge without having to pay a license fee. Proprietary software, on the other hand, generally has numerous limits on how software can be used or modified. They are often expensive and closed off from inspection. This closed off from inspection is what is generally referred to as closed source. In software development, the source code is the human-readable version of the instruction set to develop an application. This source code is then compiled or assembled into binary, the ones and zeros that computers can read, but that humans massively struggle with. Now, if you're not a computer programmer, you may be surprised to hear that most of the software enabling the internet is actually open source. Free software available for anyone to use. In our deep dive, we'll talk more about why the industry is actually heading headlong in this open source direction, but that's for another time. For now, it's important to know that many of the challenges being faced by the community-based integrated data systems can be solved with open source solutions. Knowing this, it can be frustrating to see nonprofits build partial solutions to their issues using expensive software that can often require other nonprofits to pay large sums of money if they want to integrate with them. Here again, I want to point out that all of the work of this channel, all of the code, designs, and ideas I release here will all be open source and available for anyone to use free of charge. No one is trying to sell you anything. I live in a community that could greatly benefit from adopting these technologies, and I'm making my ideas freely available here so that it may help not only my community, but any others like it as well. API first is an approach to designing data systems in a way that seeks to avoid common issues like data silos and inaccessibility to data. These approaches take more forethought in the beginning, but pay off massively by avoiding many issues with integrations in the long run. This piece will be critically important and the subject of its own video. Problem 2, independent community technology infrastructure. Community collaboratives often waste valuable resources rebuilding the fundamental infrastructure needed to enable data collaboratives and integrated data systems. The result is that truly needed infrastructure is not provided, or the infrastructure that is vastly underutilized. Here, I'm defining technology infrastructure as both the products and people needed to enable impactful nonprofit integration work. You can purchase the newest wide-body jetliner, but without a pilot, ground crew, and staff to maintain it, it's likely not going to take you very far. So you have to solve both the people and products problem at the community level. Not every nonprofit can afford to hire a data engineer and developers, yet in the future we are moving to, every nonprofit will be able to benefit from having these skill sets dedicated to working on their problems. Fortunately, there are models that exist that put these needed skill sets in the range of just about any community. We will be exploring one of these approaches in an upcoming video, so stay tuned. Problem 3. A clearly articulated vision for what will happen with the community's data. Now, this problem is about way more than consent and privacy. Data gathered from a community has value, and many nonprofit initiatives know that data and data collaboratives will be crucially important to doing impactful and meaningful work. What is less well known and understood is that this data has value to many for-profit companies outside of our communities. This problem is also about who will gain from data collected in a community and how much of that value will be experienced by members of that community and by users of nonprofit services. Is there a truly inspiring vision that can be articulated in a way that can gain both community and nonprofit support? Because without this vision, it'll be impossible to really succeed. Now, no discussion around data privacy and ownership in North Carolina would be complete without an open and honest discussion around NC Care 360. Now, I'm a fan of the stated goals of NC Care 360, but I do have major concerns around data privacy and who actually owns that data. Honestly, I believe families seeking nonprofit services deserve better data protections and privacy. If you work for a nonprofit and have opinions on NC Care 360 and would like to reach out to me, you can at numbersmatter8@gmail.com. I would like to include your voice as well, and all of our conversations will be private. Hopefully, this will be the beginnings of a discussion on how to make NC Care 360 a much better program. That's it for now. If you think this work is important, please share, like, and subscribe. I'll see you later.